Hello and welcome. Today we will discuss vitamins, and on the basis of solubility, vitamin can be categorized into two category, that is fat soluble and number two water soluble. And today's video we will discuss first fat soluble vitamins, and then in later videos we will discuss water soluble vitamins. So we all know that fat soluble vitamins are A, D, E and K. But in today's lecture we will discuss about vitamin A in detail. So whenever we discuss any vitamin, so as we all know, we will discuss vitamin A. So whenever we will discuss any kind of vitamin, we should know about the source. और हम ये कह सकते हैं कि किस डाइट में हमें सबसे ज़्यादा कोई भी पर्टिकुलर विटामिन मिलता है. सो इन केस ऑफ विटामिन ए, अगर हमसे कोई पूछे कि विटामिन ए किस डाइट में सबसे ज़्यादा पाया जाता है, तो द रिचेस्ट सोर्स ऑफ विटामिन ए इज cod liver fish oil. It is also found in vegetables, green leafy vegetables which are green leafy vegetables. They are also present in a higher amount in yellow and red fruits and vegetable. And it is also found in meat, especially in liver of animals. So this is all about what are the sources of vitamin A in our diet. Now coming to the next point, which is what is the active form of vitamin A. As we all know that the fat soluble vitamins have provitamin. They found in provitamin form, and when they going inside the body, they will change into the active form. So as far as the vitamin A is concerned, we have three types, or we can say three biological active form. We have three biological active form, and these three biological active form collectively known as retinoid, right? What they know, these three collectively known as retinoids. Now what are they? Number one, retinol. Number two, retinol, and of course number three is retinoic acid. So these are basically three active forms of vitamin A which found in any cell, or we can say anywhere, whereas these retinol and retinol can be changed into their form whenever it is needed, right? In the presence of, so we can say it can be changed to the retinol, and retinol can be changed to the retinol in the presence of retinol aldehyde reductase. इसको याद करने के लिए we can just write RAR, and during this conversion from retinol to retinol, one NADPH is used. NADPH has been oxidized to NADP+. right, in this process. But as far as the retinoic acid, it cannot be changed in any of form, means that it is only be found in the retinoic acid. Once it is formed, it cannot be changed either in retinol or retinol. So this is about the biological form of three biological active form of vitamin A. Now coming to the next part, that is how they gets absorbed and transported within a cell, or we can say within human body. So for that, first of all, we all know that it has been found in the beta carotene form, right? We eat and then beta carotene going into the intestine, and from where the absorption obviously occur. So we have to understand that from where it gets started. So obviously we eat in the form of beta carotene. When we ingest it, it goes into the intestine, and in the presence of beta, in the presence of an enzyme known as beta carotene dioxygenase, it has been changed this that particular beta carotene has been changed into the retinol, which is an aldehyde form. And one more thing you have to remember, that one molecule of beta carotene in the presence of beta carotene dioxygenase form two molecule of retinol, right? Two molecule of retinol. Now as we all know that we have three active form of vitamin A, biological active form. So if that retinol, which is an aldehyde form, it has been if it is oxidation occur in retinol, so what we get retinoic acid. What we get? Retinoic acid. Secondly, we already know that retinol can be changed into the retinol, which is an form alcohol containing form, right? And it can also be reversed to retinol in the presence of which enzyme? It can be interchangeable. Yes, retinol aldehyde reductase. And how much ATP NADPH is required? 1 NADPH has been oxidized to NADP plus, right? So this is all about the how we get different form of vitamin A. Now the important part is coming, that how it gets absorbed, right? So we all know that it is a fat soluble vitamin. For that, it should be absorbed in the presence of fat. And we came to know when we discuss about the fat metabolism, fatty acid metabolism, that while in absorption in the presence of bile salt, the fats become one small bubble, or we can say globules, fat globules, which is known as chylomicron. And then chylomicron actually absorbed through the intestinal epithelium or intestinal cells. So before that, it has to be inserted, or it has to be accommodated into the chylomicron. For that, esterification has been done, right? उसके लिए क्या होना चाहिए? इस रेटिनॉल का esterification जरूरी होता है. वो किसकी प्रेजेंस में होता है? वो होता है palmitic acid के प्रेजेंस में. So esterification is required for insertion of that vitamin A into the chylomicron to get absorbed, right? ये esterification हमें क्यों जरूरी है? ताकि ये उस ग्लोब्यूल में, उस फैट ग्लोब्यूल में जिसको हम काइलोमाइक्रोन कहते हैं, और जो एब्जॉर्ब होता है उसमें ये आसानी से जा सके, वहां पर जगह बना सके, उसके लिए हमें स्टेरिफिकेशन हो, उसके लिए हमें जरूरी होता है पामेटिक एसिड। तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि थ्रू द प्रोसेस ऑफ पामेटिक एसिड it gets sit in the chylomicron and then get absorbed, right? And after the absorption, where it is reached, it has been reached to the liver. पहले ये एब्जॉर्ब होगा। अगर हम इसको यहां समझना चाहें, फॉर एग्जांपल दिस इज द ल्यूमन एंड दीज आर द epithelial lining of intestine, right? We have these chylomicron here. We have this chylomicron which gets absorbed here, and obviously it has to be coming from the other side, reaches to the portal circulation, and reaches to liver. And after reaching here, this is the place where vitamin A is stored, right? So storage of vitamin A is occurring, stored in liver. Now we digested, we get three types of form. We get absorbed and reaches up to the liver. But the problem is that all the cells need this vitamin A for their function. We will discuss later on. So how it has been transported from the liver to extrahepatic tissue. For that, liver composes two important proteins. The first is known as retinol binding protein, which is binding with retinol and retinol. ठीक है? So it has been stored here. Then every cell of the body need vitamin A. So how can be it has to be go. अब ये किस तरह से जाएगा? उसके लिए हमें एक प्रोटीन चाहिए होती है, उसका नाम होता है रेटिनॉल बाइंडिंग प्रोटीन, राइट? विच इज ऑब्वियसली सिंथेसाइज्ड बाय द लिवर. लेकिन इसमें जो तीन एक्टिव फॉर्म होते हैं उसमें से दो हैं, रेटिनॉल एंड रेटिनॉल. इट इज ओनली अटैच विद दिस आरबीपी and then go to the extrahepatic tissue, or we can say transport to extrahepatic tissue. Wherever it is needed, it has been going through this process. Now who is left? That is retinoic acid. For retinoic acid, it has been bind with albumin. Albumin is bind with retinoic acid, and when it is bind to albumin, it has been go to the extrahepatic tissue. Wherever it is needed, it has been gone through. So this is all about absorption and transportation of vitamin A. Now coming to the very important part, that is what is the function of vitamin A. So we all know since childhood we heard about vitamin A, right? And the importance of vitamin A. So the most important function, we know that it is play a very important role in vision, right? So we will discuss functions. So if anybody asks me that what is the function of vitamin A, so I can very easily categorize into two parts, right? The first is obviously it has a role in vision, which everybody knows about it, right? So for that particular function, who is responsible for that? Again, you have to remember three active form, out of which retinol and retinol. These two active form genuinely required for the vision actually, right? And the second, or we can say the second important function which play by the vitamin A is by cellular. It needs that vitamin A need for cellular differentiation, and it is also having some metabolic function. So we can say that the function of vitamin E can be categorized into three parts, that it play a very important role in vision and cellular differentiation and metabolic function. So now let's talk about the vision, how it is important, and we will take other two function, right? So until now we know that the two form, that is retinol and retinol, is related to the vision. There is a Nobel Prize given to George Wald and two other member. What they do, they discover the role of vitamin A in vision physiology, right, in 1967. So there is they given everything, that how light comes here, and then we have rods and we have cones with pigments, photosensitive pigments present in these two specialized cells. So they given everything. I will not discuss in detail, but I will tell you the most important part, that what is the need of these two active form of vitamin A in vision. So as we all know that our eye has specialized cells, that is cones and rods. As I said, it is specialized, so they have some special properties, and they have photosensitive pigments in them, pigments, right? We all know about it. But the glitch is that the content of these pigments, right, one of the main content of these pigments is vitamin A, or we can say retinol on retinol. So one of the content, तो अब इस बात को हम ऐसे समझ सकते हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल हमारे पास अगर कोई पेन है, राइट, और उसको बनाने के लिए दो तीन चीजें चाहिए होती है, प्लास्टिक चाहिए, इंक चाहिए, उसका निब चाहिए, राइट. So if anybody is having deficiency of vitamin A, so that pigment which is photosensitive is not complete. So the function of that pen or that cell will obviously not correct, hampered, right, it is distorted. So that is why the vision will be hampered, and the person who is deficient to vitamin A cannot be seen dark places initially. Night blindness is the first clinical symptom coming in a deficiency of vitamin A. So this is the very simple you can say description that we can understand, we can remember about the role of vision of vitamin A, that cones and rods are sensitive cells, I mean specialized cells, which is having a photosensitive pigments, and that particular pigment had the content of vitamin A. Without vitamin A, the pigment cannot be formed. So that is why the deficiency play a very important role. Now coming to the cellular differentiation, the second function we discuss about the vitamin A function, that is cellular differentiation. So it play a very important role, especially in embryonic development, right? Embryonic development. So you can development. How? Because it regulates gene expression. तो हम इस बात का अंदाज़ा लगा सकते हैं कि अगर विटामिन ए ना हो जो कि रेगुलेट करता है हमारी जीन एक्सप्रेशन, सो ऑब्वियसली it is very important to express our gene, right? So that is why it is important in embryonic stages. So if anybody is having vitamin A deficiency, so growth will be hampered and they have a teratogenic effect. Malform offspring may be developed, and the main function is that it regulates gene expression, especially in embryonic development or embryonic stages. Now the third function is metabolic. One of the metabolic function of vitamin A is that it also regulates biosynthesis of number one, glycoprotein. Number one, glycoprotein, right? And you just focus on it, that it also regulates the biosynthesis of mucopolysaccharide. Why this? Why I emphasize that particular component? Because mucopolysaccharide is very important as far as the mucus production is concerned, mucus secretion. If we do not have enough mucopolysaccharide, we do not have enough mucus, which makes epithelial lining moist, right? And if the epithelial lining is not moist, what happens? Keratinization occur, right? So this is the actual pathology occur in the vitamin A deficiency, that it regulate biosynthesis of glycoprotein and mucopolysaccharide, which is very essential as far as the moistness of our epithelial lining, and deficiency makes keratinization or dryness of our epithelial lining, dryness. Another biosynthesis or metabolic function is that it is also control the synthesis of biosynthesis of control of cholesterol, right? So these are all about the function of vitamin A, right? Number one, it play a very important role in vision, as the rods and cones have photosensitive pigment, and one of the main component of these photosensitive component is vitamin A. Second, it has play a very important role in cellular differentiation, and how it regulate actually the gene expression. So that is why it is vital for embryonic development or embryonic stage. It is also having some metabolic function, like it control biosynthesis of glycoprotein and mucopolysaccharide, which is required for moistness of our epithelial lining, and the important one, it is also control the synthesis of cholesterol. So these are all about the function of vitamin A. Now coming to the clinical manifestation of vitamin A deficiency. What happens actually? This part is very important because it is related to our daily routine life. So we should know what are the symptoms. So we will discuss the clinical manifestation of vitamin A deficiency. So as we all know, one of the earliest symptom of vitamin A deficiency is night blindness. Night blindness, right? One of the earliest, what is the, this is the earliest symptom of vitamin A deficiency. If the deficiency persists, what happens next? Xerophthalmia, right? Xerophthalmia. What is xerophthalmia? It is nothing but dryness of eye or dry cornea, right? If still it is persists, what happens? Keratinization and corneal ulcer, right? This is what happens. As why keratinization, we just cover about the mucopolysaccharide. Other than that, what we have as the one of the function of vitamin A is the growth, I mean the gene, regulate the gene expression. So if anybody is having deficiency, so we have growth retardation. And because of this mucopolysaccharide, what happens? Dry, rough and scaly skin. ओके इसके अलावा और क्या हो सकता है? इसके अलावा ये जो केराटिनाइजेशन जो एपिथेलियल मॉइस्टनेस हैम्पर करती है, सो दैट एपिथेलियल लाइनिंग इज ऑल ओवर इन आवर बॉडी. सो केराटिनाइजेशन occur in respiratory and urinary tract, makes them more susceptible किसके लिए? For infection. Actually the moistness is nothing but it is a protective function for us, right? So these are important. Yes, one important function, I mean clinical feature is also very important, that is reproductive function, right? What happens to reproductive? So in male, what happens? Testes degeneration occur. And if anybody any lady is having vitamin A deficiency during pregnancy, तो क्या होगा? Malform offspring, right? So these are all about the manifestation or clinical manifestation of vitamin A deficiency. Now very commonly used therapeutic use, we can say, what are the therapeutic use of retinoic acid? So we all know that it has been used in skin disorders, especially in acne and psoriasis. Why? We know why it is used in acne. Retinoid, therapeutic use of vitamin A, therapeutic use. So the most common form of vitamin A used in treatment is retinoic acid used in acne, psoriasis commonly, right? We also because it is a fat soluble vitamin, so we also have hypervitaminosis. But what are the clinical feature of hypervitaminosis? So the clinical feature of hypervitaminosis are dry skin, hair loss, joint pain, hepatomegaly, nausea, vomiting, and if this hypervitaminosis occur during pregnancy, so what happens? It has teratogenic effect on fetus. Okay, so this is all about vitamin A biochemistry and what are the important features of vitamin A. So if you think that this video is good information, providing a good information, अगर आपको ये लगता है कि ये वीडियो आपके किसी काम आ सकी है या आपको अच्छी इन्फॉर्मेशन मिली है, तो आप इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें और इस वीडियो को जितना ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा हो उसको आप शेयर करें। और अगर आपके कोई भी सवाल हो तो प्लीज़ कमेंट बॉक्स में लिखें, इंशाल्लाह सबका माकूल जवाब देने की कोशिश करेंगे। अगली वीडियो आने तक अल्लाह हाफिज़। थैंक यू वेरी मच।